Think you know African history? I'm about to prove you don't. Most people get fewer than 4 of these empire questions right, and I guarantee at least 3 of these will leave you speechless. Let's see if you can beat the odds. Question 1. This West African empire controlled more gold than medieval Europe combined and had universities when London was still a collection of mud huts. Which empire am I talking about? Think about it. The Mali Empire. At its peak in the 1300s, Mali was so wealthy that when Emperor Mansa Musa went on pilgrimage to Mecca, he gave away so much gold in Cairo that it crashed the Egyptian economy for a decade. The University of Timbuktu had 25,000 students when Oxford had barely 1,000. Question 2. This empire lasted longer than the Roman Empire and controlled trade routes that made Venice rich. It's still around today, but most people have never heard of it. What empire? Think about it. The Ethiopian Empire. It ruled for over 2,000 years until 1974, making it one of the longest-lasting empires in human history. While Europe was in the Dark Ages, Ethiopia was minting its own coins and building rock-hewn churches that still stand today. Question 3. This empire built pyramids that are older than Egypt's most famous monuments, but most history books ignore them completely. Which empire? Think about it. The Kingdom of Kush. The Kushites built over 200 pyramids in Sudan, and for nearly a century, they actually ruled Egypt as the 25th dynasty. These African pharaohs saved Egyptian civilization when it was collapsing. Question 4. This empire controlled an area larger than medieval Europe and had a military so advanced they conquered lands 2,000 miles away using iron weapons. Most people think iron technology came from the Middle East. Wrong. Which empire? Think about it. The Nok civilization and later the Kingdom of Aksum. Africans were smelting iron as early as 1000 BC, centuries before it reached Europe. Aksum's navy controlled Red Sea trade and their obelisks still tower over modern Ethiopia. Question 5. This empire had a postal system, professional army, and road network that impressed European visitors in the 1400s. It covered territory from the Atlantic to Chad. Which West African powerhouse? Think about it. The Songhai Empire. It was the largest empire in African history, covering over 540,000 square miles. When Europeans finally reached Timbuktu, they found a sophisticated civilization with banks, courts, and libraries containing hundreds of thousands of manuscripts. Question 6. This empire's capital city had running water, sewage systems, and paved roads for 100 years before Paris had any of this. European visitors called it a marvel of organization. Which empire? Think about it. The Kingdom of Kongo. When Portuguese explorer Diego Chao arrived in 1482, he found Mansa Kongo, a city of 100,000 people with advanced urban planning. The king's palace had multiple courtyards and the kingdom had its own currency system. Question 7. This empire's queen fought off Portuguese colonizers for 30 years and is considered one of history's greatest military strategists. She died undefeated at age 81. Which empire? Think about it. The Kingdom of Nongo. Queen Nzinga ruled from 1624 to 1663, personally leading troops into battle and forming alliances that kept Portuguese slavers at bay for decades. She is still celebrated as a national hero in Angola. Question 8. This empire controlled the ivory and gold trade for over 600 years and built stone cities without mortar that still stand today. Archaeological evidence shows they had international trade connections. Which empire? Think about it. The Kingdom of Zimbabwe. Great Zimbabwe stone walls were built so precisely they've survived 700 years without cement. The kingdom traded with China, India, and Persia, as proven by artifacts found in the ruins. Question 9. This empire had female rulers who controlled trans-Saharan trade and built the largest mud brick structure in the world. Their mosque still stands and holds 25,000 worshippers. Which empire? Think about it. The Mossi Kingdoms. The Great Mosque of Djen, rebuilt by Mossi architects, is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. These kingdoms resisted conquest for 500 years through sophisticated military tactics and diplomacy. Question 10. This empire's navy controlled Mediterranean trade for 300 years and established trading posts from Morocco to Turkey. They are often confused with Middle Eastern powers. Which North African empire? Think about it. The Fatimid Caliphate. Based in Cairo, this was an African empire that controlled Sicily, built Al-Azhar University, and established trade networks that connected Africa to Europe and Asia. Bonus question, this one's diabolical. This empire predates ancient Egypt and had written language, advanced metallurgy, and international trade 4,000 years ago, but most people think African civilization started with Egypt. Which ancient powerhouse? Think about it. The Kingdom of Kush. Archaeological evidence shows Kush was trading with Mesopotamia and had complex governmental systems before Egypt's Old Kingdom reached its peak. How many did you get right? If you got more than 6, you're in the top 5% of people who actually know African history. If you got fewer than 4, don't worry, you're exactly where most people are, thanks to history books that pretend Africa had no great civilizations. Send this to someone who thinks they know African history and watch their mind get blown too.